Hi, MInesh Baxi here, and the man who makes this place happen. And Chris Weagel, thank you so much. And I'm now sure that we all know how to spell the name instead of making a mistake.
Very important. Thank you.
I'm grateful to you and your team for making this happen, because most people don't know that Community Media Network TV is a member of Troy Chamber.
Correct.
Number one. Number two is obviously you're providing a service to the local community where people want to come and expose their ideas, explore and learning about their videos and other facilities which you provide here as well. So thank you so much. I know that's a long introduction there.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. And thank you for coming back week after week after week and making shows. No, I'm serious. That's what we want people to do. We want people to use this facility to make programming, and you have done it.
Thank you.
Very efficiently. Thank you.
You must be like, this guy's nuts.
No, I mean, a lot of people, they come in and they barely get one show done, and it's good.
We are at almost 90 now.
That's right. Yeah, that's good. Keep going.
Yeah, in a month, thanks to my trip, it'll take longer. But otherwise, I would have been at 100 by the next week or so.
Do you have any plans for the 100th episode? Any special?
I know, I haven't thought of that yet. So that's a good point. You and I, Chris, should look into creating some buzz around it.
Okay.
And that would be helpful as well. But let's focus on you first.
Okay.
So CMNTV, tell us a little bit about how long it has been around.
CMNTV, which stands for Community Media Network TV, began in 1983.
Wow.
And had a different name. It's still our legal name. It still exists, and it's much longer. It's Oakland County Cable Communications Corporation. And at some point in the 90s, I believe they said, that's way too long. Let's shrink it down to something manageable like Community Media Network. So we love our acronyms at CMNTV. We're a public access TV station. We're on Channel 18 on Comcast and WOW in 11 cities here in southeast Oakland County. And, of course, we love Troy. We're located right here in Troy. And, of course, you can watch it on that cable stations, but we also stream worldwide at cmntv.org. Our videos are on YouTube, Facebook, all social media. You can watch it on your phone. You can watch it anywhere. And people can come here from these cities or even from beyond, and they can pay a very small fee, and they can get media training on studios like this, the Solo Studio. We have a larger studio. We teach editing. We teach camera equipment that you can check out in the field to record things. And then depending on where you live, like if you live in Troy, there's no charge to use this room or check out the equipment. You can make programming of almost any type of any content, and all you have to do is air it on the channel, and then you can put it on your own social media, and you can create and communicate and talk about anything you wish.
Exactly. And the first time I got training was when we had those old ancient cameras, and we had old ancient systems called VHS.
Right.
And I learned editing on that. I went through, I remember till now, it was maybe earlier in the 2000, maybe 99 or something like that, that I went to Oakland University where they used to have classes, and it was dead of the winter, late in the night, taking
Very
classes. And I'm sure you didn't know that I did that.
I didn't know you did that, but that was actually CMN's satellite studio with OU at the time.
Okay.
When it started in the 80s, there was a smaller version of this in all of the cities, and then over time everything consolidated.
Okay.
But when that happened, there were people working there that were connected to this. So you did that. The cameras are very heavy. The tapes would get jumbled, but it's a good workout physically then and mentally. And so you did that. Do you remember what type of programming you made at that time? What was your goal then?
I was looking to learn just for learning's sake. I think the first part was, but also I wanted to go out and shoot videos because I've been a speaker, author, and a business coach for 20 years.
Right.
So that was part of the reason to learn these things, so I can actually produce some of these programming that obviously is so easy now.
Right, yes. But did you actually finish a project?
I didn't finish too many things.
Okay.
I did participate in different projects.
Very good.
In fact, after that, I became actually more active, and my wife also went through the training.
That's right, yes.
And in the bigger studio here,
yes,
we had quite a few shows like this one.
Okay, right. I do remember she was doing a business-focused show when she came through a couple of years ago. Yes.
So we did that, and we used to have because I've been doing seminars here for a long time.
Okay.
And I would have business people at my seminars, and one of the things I did was to, picture this.
Right.
And it would be a fun thing for my clients and people who attended my seminar, all business people who want to get their message out, and we would take time here, come to the studio, and get a shot. And that was 7-8 years ago now.
Yeah. So what What changed? What made you say, okay, now I have to do this myself again? I know my wife did this, but now I've got to step up. What made you come back to CMN?
Well, good point. So here is the part. I'm more of a person who is very comfortable in front of people.
Okay.
My wife is the opposite.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Yes.
And so it's always been easy for me to speak in front of groups of people. So being on a TV, camera and stuff, not a big deal for me.
Right.
On the other hand, the production part is not as much fun for me.
Yeah. There's still, it's lighter to hold, but it's still buttons to push and
Exactly.
still to get a lot of things right.
So here's what happened last year. And one of the things which I may have told you or not, but usually I've been leaving Florida every year for a few. And
Right.
I've been doing this for roughly 10 years, off and on, 3-4 months gone, right?
Okay.
So this winter onwards, for certain reasons, I'm going to be here. And I was talking to my wife, and then she says, Minesh, there's going to be a solo studio class that you might want to go to. And I'm
Okay.
like, that sounds interesting. And when I read about it, Kevin was the one who did the class. And
Right.
it was a 2-hour class. Like, I can manage that one.
Now, how did that compare? I know you had done some videos, I think, at home that are online. How did that compare to what you were doing at home when you came here?
Well, the quality is just unbelievable.
All right.
You folks are providing stuff which is just incredible. I walk in, everything is already set up, and it's good to go. There is no editing required. And I'm telling you, I'm surprised more people are not taking advantage of it. To me, it is just, for my selfish reasons, I would like to keep it a secret, but I feel obligated that everybody should be able to take advantage of it, because you are giving an opportunity that most people would have to pay a lot of money
Right.
if they are in the community here, especially,
Yeah.
to get exposure like this at this quality.
Now, when you took the class, I think you've been coming back once a week,
Pretty much.
since that time, and doing
3 to 4 times a month, yes.
right, and maybe 6 to 8 shows a visit, something like that.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah, so it really was. You didn't have to do anything else, because at home you'd have to set everything up, light it, hit
Correct.
the button, and do it. And now you're just coming in. Oh, that's
And
great.
also the quality isn't the same. See, the lighting here is phenomenal.
Right. Well, thank you. That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
it's good stuff, and people can see this is very professional, so it raises. So I have a friend who teaches, networking and business and so on and so forth. So he talks about 3 steps. VCP. V is visibility, C is credibility, P is profitability. Well, by having a studio like this where you can use your talents, you can interview people, get content creation, visibility and credibility is pretty instantaneous.
Right. Yeah. So that immediately that takes those 2 letters off the acronym right away. And
Boom.
you worry about the 3rd one after that.
Exactly. And then it's up to the person to market themselves.
Yeah, that's part of the reason. That's right along with the theme of why we even built this in the first place. We built this, and it began in September of 2017. We always had the big room, but you always needed a group of people, and it was a lot to coordinate. It was a lot for people, and there would often be individuals who simply just wanted to sit down and get their message out. So we put this together, and we have a class every month. The room is small, so the class only holds 4 people, but it's always sold out. In fact, the February class is sold out, but it'll be offered again in March. And it was so popular last fall. There were stretches, months there, where it was booked out every day, all day for months. So we're building a slightly larger room. So maybe by the time you get to episode 100, the room next door will be ready. Then you can have more than one guest. Maybe you can bring back your all-star guests for a reunion on 100th episode.
That sounds like a great idea.
Could be, yes.
That would be fantastic, and thanks for saying that. So let me ask you, CMNTV depends on charity of some nature.
It's not exactly charity.
Sure.
In the way that the telecommunications companies do business in any city across the country is they have to string, even if you're ultimately using something wireless in your hand, it all goes back to physical wires being run on infrastructure in cities. So they're using something called the public rights of way. So telecommunication companies make agreements with local governments or county governments or state governments to say, okay, we're going to use this public right of way to put our cables across, and in exchange we're going to pay essentially this sort of rent. The name of that rent is called a franchise fee. It was put into law in the 1984 Cable Act, and so those franchise fees go to every city's budget across the country. And from that, the city can choose to do whatever they wish with it. The majority of that money goes into their general fund in the city. However, there is a provision in these contracts where they can take a sliver, and by a sliver I mean 0.5%, and 0.5% of the money they get from the companies, and they can pass it on to the ICCA board, the consortium that governs us, to be part of this and to fund all of this. So the vast majority of our funding comes from cities passing on 0.5% of that cable franchise fee, essentially the rent they charge to the companies to use the rights of way to run their infrastructure.
And obviously, you're always looking for more people to sponsor, more people to be involved, engaged,
Yes.
and there are a lot of great services you provide. So tell people what they can do in addition to obviously coming and using the facilities.
In addition to using the facilities, so any of the training we offer here, like you could just simply take video editing. We have video editing courses. And of course, you could use that knowledge outside of this building to produce and edit anything you want. We have cameras, lights, microphones, etc. that we classify as field equipment that you can take outside of this building and shoot whatever you wish and then bring it back and put something together. Beyond that, we service the cities and the schools we have 2 vehicles that go out. So we work with the high schools in our funding cities, their video classes, and we cover sports almost year round or through the whole school year. So we do every sport you can imagine, and the students in the video classes get school class credit to work on our truck, and they get trained. And also, if you're a member here, you can get training and work on that. And then we also, beyond that, in 4 of our cities, the very exciting and always thrilling entertainment of government meetings, which every city has. And of course, every city is committed to government transparency, so we manage for those cities the coverage of all of their meetings. And I would say over the last 10 years, and specifically over the last 5 years, we've expanded more and more that direction, and we've made the programming in our cities available not just through TV, but in the last 2 years, we've helped multiple cities redo all of their equipment, and now they're streaming online and they're available in multiple sources. So we maintain this archive of government transparency for all of these communities, which all citizens and anyone who might be applying for a contract or a permit in the city have access to all of these records through what we're doing video and audio for these cities.
Well, that's awesome. Now, people who are watching this, maybe some small business owners,
Yes.
corporations, and they are looking to have maybe training, webinars, or they want to have some video production. Tell me, how can they benefit from it?
If you're a business, most of the things that people do here are of a non-commercial nature under the public access membership. However, if you have a commercial interest, we offer a variety of services. So one, you can simply hire staff to do commercial productions. We've worked on various corporate clients producing training videos or promotional videos for their companies. We also offer in our larger studio, we have some clients come in and they do webcasting to their internal networks, to their satellite offices, and we can supervise and do all of that with our big studio and have a large group of people presenting employee educational materials, training, corporate communications from the executives and so forth. We've done that for 4 or 5 years now. And then beyond that, if you are a company and you wish to, or small business, let's
Yes.
say, and you wish to use any of these facilities for commercial or promotional materials, there are fees you can pay to CMN to use a room like this. It's not quite as cheap as the free public access membership, but the rates are very much lower than a larger production facility where you could come in, you can talk about any content you wish, you can promote anything you wish, and then you can use that video anywhere you wish in your social media marketing or any sort of promotional things you want to give to clients. And so if you come to the staff and want to work something out like that, we do have reasonable rates that we can offer those commercial services.
Yeah, and I think your people have been just fantastic to work with. I've had a great time.
That's great.
You've been more
Fantastic.
and the only price I've paid so far, it looks like the cookies. And
Cookies, we appreciate, yes, most of the donations from our satisfied members come in the form of some sort of processed sugar, and we enjoy that as a staff. That's very good. The cookies. You had chocolates on Valentine's
Yes.
Day. That was very much appreciated. Thank you.
but I think let's talk about people can donate money as well.
They can also donate. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and a few times over the years, people have been very generous and have outright donated. Depending on your tax situation, that may be tax deductible. Something to talk with your accountant, but we can do that as well. We also go out and we cover a lot of community events. We do stuff with the Royal Oak Symphony Orchestra, the Royal Oak Concert Band, Oakland Youth Orchestra. We run their programming. So it depends on various cities and civic events. We can cover all of those things. What else? What amazes me kind of in this room, like kind of what you said at the beginning, is it's sort of underused. And I want to say you've done, as you said, you're approaching 100 episodes. And as small as this room might be, You have found a way to innovate beyond that a couple weeks ago, a month ago. So in December, you managed to, after your interview, you managed to do a full martial art demonstration in this room. I must congratulate you. The first person in this room to go beyond sitting. And with the explosions of fruit and boards, I must commend you. I would also say, also in this room, you can, right now we're sitting here,
yes.
But this room and our other studios have the capacity we could take Skype calls, so you could talk to clients or producers or people around the world. There's a phone line built in here. You can go live in any sort of capacity. You could go live on our channel. You could also go live on your own social networks and people to come in here and take phone calls during their show. So you could do Q&As and so forth. So there is a lot of untapped possibilities here. And I would say to anyone who's interested, anyone in the local chamber area, anyone who has whatever kind of video need, commercial, nonprofit, other, I'm sure there's another category out there. Come to CMN. We host orientations at least 3 times a year. There'll be another one. It's free in April. It's 2 hours on a Saturday. And then the classes are run, as I said, the class for this room is run once a month. It's usually the last Thursday of every month, 2 hours. Classes for the other areas of the facility, the larger studio, the editing, the field equipment, those cycle throughout the year. So there's many opportunities to get involved and to learn. And if you are maybe shaky with some of your skills, we have many volunteer opportunities in our trucks and civic productions where if you want to learn more about larger productions and you're a member here, we'll take you on and we can teach you about that type of production as well.
Well, thank you, because my daughter is taking advantage as well.
Very good. Yes, she has a program in this room. Is she coming in today or is that?
Not today.
Okay, very good. And remind me again the
Kids and entrepreneurship.
Kids and entrepreneurship. And how is she finding hosting a show?
Well, right now it is relatively based on me.
Okay.
And I think once we come back from our trip to India, we are leaving for, then she will start bringing in actually people who have businesses in the area catering to parents and children.
Oh, okay. Is she specifically looking for children who have their own
Both.
businesses? Okay.
Both. Kids as well as entrepreneurs.
Is it difficult to find children running their own businesses? I'm not aware
just
of
running
many.
businesses. They could be success stories in life.
Okay.
So they
Very
could be
good.
younger people, but they just are kids.
Right.
And they are having some maybe entrepreneurial desire or they have some success. So I'm looking for kids who would like to be practicing this
Yes.
and promoting their own message out there. So that's another reason we'll be doing that.
So we work with the high school kids, and you can be, we take the ages limit is 15. So if you're 15 or older, you can come here and you can take classes and use all the facilities.
Exactly. My daughter is 16 and she was able to take advantage of it.
Excellent.
So
Fantastic.
Chris, anything else you want to share about our program here? This is purely for your benefit to help us promote your wonderful place here.
Come inside to CMN TV. Don't be afraid. Even if you don't want to press any buttons or pick up any cameras, if you just have some sort of message to communicate, you can use this room. It's a 2-hour workshop, and all you have to do is push a few imaginary buttons on an iPad piece of glass, and you can say something not only to your community, but to the entire world, no matter how obscure, a niche, tiny, marginal you may think your message is. Come in here, do it. And the person you want to beat, the target you were looking to beat, is chopping a watermelon in half with your bare hands, because that is the bar right now. But otherwise, thank you, sir. Thank you for having me on your program.
I loved it. So, folks, Chris is the man who is able to help make this happen, and his staff is fantastic. They were very helpful.
Thank you to the staff.
And CMN TV here is in Troy, near 15 Mile and Stevenson area.
Yes.
Please join us, and I look forward to seeing you folks again. And Chris, thanks again. I will see you soon.